the Tennessee Titans, you have Malik Willis versus Will Levis. Now, neither one of these guys are going to be competing for the starting QB job this year. The Titans have pretty much already said that Ryan Tannehill is going to be the guy week 1. But this is going to be a battle to decide who's going to potentially end up being Ryan Tannehill's successor when he decides to retire or when Tennessee moves on from him. Now, they drafted Will Levis in the second round of this past year's draft, and many people expected this guy to be a first-round pick. Not too many people had him falling out of the top 10 or the top 15, but there were rumors saying that he didn't really interview well. He rubbed a lot of executives and coaches the wrong way with his cockiness and his attitude. He's kind of jacked up. He's like a bodybuilder at QB, which I don't really see nothing wrong with that. And for Will Levis, he has the potential to end up being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but the problem is that he's super raw. He doesn't really have great pocket awareness. He doesn't do a good job reading defenses. He can get really reckless with the football at times. And from what I've read so far about how he has performed in OTAs, he kind of has performed the way that I've expected him to. He's been up and down. He's had some big throws, but he also has had a lot of misses. And that's a little bit alarming because during OTAs, you're only in tank tops and shorts, and many rookie QBs such as Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and even Anthony Richardson have been getting a lot of praise. And for Will Levis, he kind of hasn't been getting as much praise as those other rookie QBs because he kind of has been a little bit up and down. And then you have Malik Willis, right? Malik Willis was drafted in the previous year's draft in the 3rd round. And the couple of games that he started in last season, this dude did not look good. But I don't really think it was his fault necessarily. I don't really think the Titans did a good job at putting him in a scheme that maximized his talent. And when you have a quarterback like a Malik Willis, he's not a plug-and-play kind of guy. This isn't a guy who you just plug and play and run the same offense that you did when you had Ryan Tannehill. Like, you have to take time to design a specific offense around him, like what the Ravens did with Lamar Jackson, what the Chicago Bears did with Justin Fields, and what the Indianapolis Colts are going to do with Anthony Richardson. And when you look at their OC last year, like, this guy got arrested for like a DUI. That's something that you expect out of your players, not the guy who is a coach on your team and calls the plays. So the offensive coordinator wasn't really good at calling the plays. Many Titans fans were glad that he ended up getting fired. And for Malik Willis, this is somebody who doesn't have the character concerns that Will Levis had when he was coming out. This is somebody who is a hard worker. He's a likable guy in the locker room. He's going to bust his tail every single day to get better. I expect Malik Willis to improve, and hopefully with a new OC, he should be able to thrive. Now, if he ends up struggling and he gets beat out by Will Levis, there's many reports that say that he most likely is going to end up being a strong candidate to get cut. And if he gets cut, I don't really think that would be the worst situation for him to happen. I'm pretty sure he'll get picked up fairly quickly. I could see him going to the Rams or a team like Seattle. But for Malik Willis, he was so bad last season that the Tennessee Titans ended up signing Joshua Dobbs off the Detroit Lions practice squad, and they made him start in their last 2 games, which Tennessee was a team that was still competing for the division. They were trying to make it to the playoffs, so the fact that they didn't have confidence in Malik Willis and they went out and signed the guy off the practice squad to start and try to help them make a playoff push tells you everything you need to know about how they felt about Malik Willis and his play on the field. And plus, they got a new general manager. He wasn't the guy who drafted Malik Willis, so obviously the patience isn't going to be there. But Malik Willis, I'm really banking on him improving because this is somebody who is a hard worker. He's really dedicated. He puts a lot of work in, a lot of time in. He's a likable guy. He's very personable. I expect him to be able to beat out Will Levis because just keeping it 100 with you guys, I watched a lot of Will Levis film. And around this time last year, when I saw him in the first round of mock drafts, like, I was really surprised. I was like, bro, this dude is really projected to be a first-round pick. No way it happens. Then he ended up getting drafted in the 2nd round. And I'm just not really a big fan of Will Levis. And I'm not biased. I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys. I am somebody who watches a lot of SEC football. You guys can watch all of the college football content that I post on this channel or on the podcast. Like, I'm pretty knowledgeable when it comes to college football. I've watched a good amount of Will Levis tape. This guy was not it. I remember there was a game against Ole Miss, right? They were driving down the score, game on the line, and the dude fumbled the football. Like, the dude is insanely reckless with the football. And this guy came from a NFL system. They had Liam Cohen, who came from the LA Rams coaching staff. So for Will Levis to struggle the way that he did last season doesn't really give me a lot of confidence that he's going to succeed as an NFL QB. Like, for those of you guys who are doubting Anthony Richardson, I think you have more reasons to doubt Will Levis than you do AR. You got the character concerns, plus this guy has really spotty footwork. Like, this guy is way more raw than what Anthony Richardson is. And you may not think it, but at least Anthony Richardson has good pocket awareness. Will Levis can't sense pressure at all. He's kind of a little bit like what Daniel Jones was when he was coming out of Duke. Like, Daniel Jones, the knock on Danny Dimes has been his inability to sense pressure at times, which can be a pro and a con, because that means that regardless of how many defenders are closing in on you, you're still going to sit in there and make the tough throw despite how hard you may get popped. But at times, if you can't sense pressure, ultimately you're going to end up having a lot of sacks. And Will Levis, he is pretty athletic. He doesn't have the athleticism that Malik Willis has. But if this guy ends up panning out and he develops and I end up being wrong about him, this guy could end up becoming a top 5 QB for Tennessee in the foreseeable future. But for right now, I expect Will Levis to win. Well, I expect Malik Willis to win the backup quarterback job for the Tennessee Titans this season.